Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Can I go in the right angle to make sure it's peaceful?
Yes.
Okay.
If she kicks you out, then no.
Okay.
Yes.
So then now they are letting him vote.
Ma'am.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Hello. They were trying to deny his ballot, which they have relented because there is no law that says that you cannot wear a MAGA hat to vote. But they tried. They tried their best. There he is getting his ballot. And he's gonna vote with his MAGA hat. Voting.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Told you we had a special guest today. Surprise! Joe is probably joining us. I'm not sure of the time frame yet, but he should be joining us during episode today. So surprise, Joe's going to be the guest on today's show. Bet you didn't see that one coming. And I bet you didn't know about what you just witnessed as the opening to the show, which occurred on June 2nd, 2026 in New Mexico, polling location where a man was denied access to his ballot because he was wearing a MAGA hat. Voter suppression. Wearing a MAGA hat, they had to call the police in order to enforce this man's right to vote. You hear that? The side that claims no kings, the side that claims polling places should not have ICE by them, the side that claims this is the worst country ever founded, the side that will do anything the opposite of what is best for the American people, denying this man his right to vote because of the hat he's wearing. Any outrage? Any media coverage? No. And this happened 2 weeks ago. I just stumbled across this on my feed this morning. So yeah, talk about keeping this hush hush. Now I wonder how often this happens, in how many different locations, or is this just an isolated incident? But once again, another isolated incident that interferes with the Republican side while handing something to the Democrats. See, our election system is completely on its head. And no one seems to want to do anything to fix it that can. Trump's doing what he can do through executive orders. But at the heart of it, there is no legislation that's making its way through. We got the SAVE Act through the House recently. Look how long that has taken. And now we're in the Senate. And there's no way there's going to be 60 votes that are going to come from the Senate. So what's going to happen there? Okay, our most sacred part of our constitutional republic is us having our right to vote. That is how we give our consent. That's how we show how we feel as a populace. I don't know the last time that system actually represented what the people feel. And that's all by design. To create this chaos, uncertainty, the infighting, the outfighting, the name calling, right? All the division that this creates when it's a simple process that that the ancient Greeks did. You know, like voting. This isn't something new. This isn't something that just kind of spurred onto the scene in the 21st century. Voting has gone on for a long time. The ancient Greeks practiced it. We've learned through the ancient Greeks what democracy can do. But they did show us how people can vote. Take a pebble, put it in a jar. Empty the jar, count them up. Here's a jar with pebbles for the other thing. Empty them out, count them up. Over 2,000 years ago, people were able to vote. And in 2026, people can vote, can't vote. You don't know if your vote counts. You have outside entities that have infiltrated our election system. When it's real simple that if you actually localize the election in not just county, but like neighborhoods within the county, local polling places, get your votes in, let the local people count them and report out. It's not that hard. But no one wants to solve this because we all know the elections are crap. They're not authentic. They're not showing the actual will of the people, right? It's willy-nilly who gets assigned the wind when the elections happen. And then if it's not at a large scale, then there is a way to corrupt a smaller local election. Look what happened to Joe when he ran for chair in Colorado. That, 50%, over 50% of the vote wound up being proxy that day. Like, there's always some way that people figure out how to manipulate the system in their favor that will ultimately keep the people at bay. Get the people involved enough to care enough to kind of get participants within the system, but ultimately never give the people what they want from the system. That's our electoral system. And we control both houses of the legislature. We control the Supreme Court, conservative views on the justices, President Trump, right? Like, we need to get things done to safeguard these elections. In person, voter ID, real simple. Make it a national holiday. Businesses will have to close. People have to understand that, right? We're going to need some time to shift through it. But ultimately, that's what needs to happen to make sure that the actual will of the people is represented through our elections. Because when the will of the people is not represented through the elections like it has for a long time now, right, at the local, state, and national level, look what you get. Look at the chaos you get. Look at the divisiveness you get. Look at the ugliness, right? And that's all resulted from our election systems that have been hijacked to sow discourse amongst the American people to keep us distracted with the infighting amongst each other while up top, all they do is just rape and pillage and just beat us down. And it's not only here in America that this is happening, by the way. This is happening in Europe. It's going on in Asia, right? It's going on South America. It's going on all over the place. Europe is waking up to it. We're going to cover that later on in today's show, but what's going on in Europe and what needs to happen here. We need to take it back. That's the only way. How do you do it? Well, we're going to talk about different ideas on how do you start taking things back that people stole from you. Pride, dignity, money, elections, voice, love of country. How do you start taking those things back from people? How do you start reclaiming what is yours? Well, the first thing you got to do is identify the problem. You need to name the problem. You need to confront the problem. You need to call the problem out and educate others about the problem. That's step one, right? You can't fight something that you can't name. You can't fight something that you can't identify. So number one is identifying the target. Now, what's the target for you? I know what my target is. My target is what came from me. Cherry Creek School District and equity. What's your target? Has your family been affected? Have you personally been affected by what's going on? Is it illegal immigration? Is it indoctrination of the children? Is it the stolen election system? Is it not cooperating with, like, whatever it is, find what motivates you, number one, and you have to identify it. And then once you identify it, then you could start looking at how do you get into the arena, right? It does no good if you sit on the sidelines, bitch and moan and complain, and then physically never do anything. That's the reality. And that's actually anti-American, right? The American spirit is, I see something, I go do something about it. That's the American spirit. A lot of that has been suppressed, has been damaged because of the bullshit and the lies that have been shoved down our nation's throats over the past 15, 20 years about how awful this country is, right? It caused a lot of internal damage for people that love this country, all right? A lot of people had to shift through the garbage that was being shoved down their throats, all in the midst of COVID, all through the midst of the 2020 stolen elections, all through the midst of the summer of love of the George Floyd riots, right? There was a massive blitz that took the American people in 2020. And it took a lot to shift through to figure out what was happening for a lot of people. That's why you're here. You figured it out. You figured it out with Joe. I didn't know about Joe back in 2020. I didn't. Right? I followed other people. And then eventually I lost them because they did nothing for me. They were not informing me. They were not bringing anything to the table. So what are you going to do to get involved? How do you take it back? How do we take it back? Right? Some people talk about going to the streets, but we'll talk more along that in the show as we go down the road. But I want to put up Joe's post. Joe put this up yesterday. And he simply put it, and I'll read it first and then we'll talk about it a little more, but it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who earns and comes up short again and again because there is no effort without error or shortcoming. But who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails. At least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who knew neither victory nor defeat. Theodore Roosevelt, former president of the United States. It's talking about you can't just sit on the sidelines. You do not sit there and keep your mouth shut, okay? You have no qualms to speak if you're not involved. You don't question, right? Everyone makes mistakes, but what you need to do is learn from those mistakes by getting into the arena, okay? Getting into the arena, getting active. How are you getting involved to take it back? Are you running for local office? Are you running for local school board? Are you running for sheriff? Are you going up to your legislature and harassing the hell out of them, right, Gammy? Are you doing things to get conversations sparred? Because at the bare minimum, that's what you can do. And the conversation can be, that person's crazy, but you know what? You're eating up time of their day. That's important. Because every minute that they are taking their attention off the agenda they're shoving down our throats is a minute saved. It's a minute well earned. Okay, and other people are fighting on bigger scales because they've been called to fight on bigger scales. Joe ran for GOP chair. Joe ran for governor. He saw something, he went for it. Did it work out well for him? No. Was he ridiculed along the way? Yeah. But I have a feeling that dude's coming back stronger than ever. Just a hunch. Just a hunch. Me, I'm fighting every day. I come here to work, get a show together for Joe, work with Joe to put a show together. I'm fighting in the courts every chance I get, every meeting I need to show up to, every hearing I need to show up to till I get to go to trial, because you need to right the wrongs and you need to make people pay that are doing the ill harm to the American people. And that's the only way it stops, is you make them pay. Financially, publicly, shaming them. I'm not advocating political violence. I'm not advocating attacking people. I'm not. But that evil needs to be put in its place across all lines. And we all need to get involved in one form or the other. And then you have people that sit on the sidelines that don't pay attention or don't care what's going on in today's world. Yeah, they're part of us too. They're part of America too. So we're fighting for those people that don't want to fight for themselves. Yep. Why? Because if we don't fight for ourselves, no one's going to fight for us or our kids. And that's the game I see in my eyes, is I have a greater responsibility for my kid and my kids' kids to leave them in a better place than when I got here. That's what I truly believe. And leaving them in a better place does not mean communism or socialism. It doesn't. What leaves them in a better place is what I'm teaching them and my wife is teaching my boy at home. How to read and write. How to care for others. How to think. Okay, he's 4, but we're teaching him how to think for himself. Because I want him to be able to do that for his children when they're older, because the government doesn't want you to think. The government wants you to be obedient. The government wants you to follow whatever it is they want you to do on that given day. And that pretty much lines up with communism and socialism. And if you studied history along the way, look how it turned out in most of the world that followed it. Death, famine, destruction, revolt, right? It's never peace and tranquility. It's never peace and tranquility. And I want my child and his children to have that peace and tranquility. So what do you need to do? You need to beat the evil back into the hole. It's a battle that's always going to have to be fought now because it's been unleashed. It's like a virus, right? It's a mind virus that's been unleashed throughout the world. You need to combat that mind violence, which means you need to arm yourself and the younger generations behind you that you know and connected to through education. And I'm not talking just through what the school teaches them. No. Talking about real life experience, real world experience, what real America means, the history of real America, all that, right? And the truth is that anyone that can get a plane ticket from any corner of the world to come to America to live here will take it. Nobody here will take a plane ticket to leave to go to live somewhere else. And Micah said it perfectly yesterday, right? The people that hate America are Americans. That's it. Everyone wants to come here to see what we got. Everyone loves this place. Let's be real. Right? Do we have our problems? Sure do. Sure do. But collectively, as a nation on this planet, there is nowhere else you would want to live and be. Access to anything you want. Education, entertainment, culture, food. You got everything you want here. Opportunity. Free speech. Kinda. Right to bear arms. Kinda. And that's the only thing that's stopping the fall from us right now from really being taken over is the fact that we have a Second Amendment and Americans own a lot of guns. Right? And that's why they're able to get away in Europe with what they're getting away with in Europe on the Europeans, England, UK, Germany, all there, right? France. They're able to get away with it because the people in Europe are not armed. Right? That's the difference. That's what holds the line here in America between the globalist takeover, globalist agenda completely and not, is the right that we have the right to bear arms. And most of us use that. Right? Legally or illegally, unfortunately. There's a lot of illegal guns out there too that people have, right? But it is what it is. But that's because if we didn't have that, if we didn't have that line to protect ourselves from government, you really think government wouldn't come and destroy you? Take what they wanted from you? They would. And I can't believe I'm sitting here saying that as a 42-year-old. But life experience, yeah. Yeah, it's ugly. But they will do it. They will do it. Which leads me to play this clip. Check out this Instagram clip about good men and bad things. Good man might have to do evil things to protect his children and God's children, and that's 100% true. That's something I think about more often than I like to admit. So if my wife's hearing this, yeah, that's a thought that dominates my train of thought a lot of the times, is what I would have to do to protect my child at all costs. And I would. I'll kill for my boy. I'll die for my boy, without question. I'll die for my wife. I'll kill for my wife. I will do awful things if needed in order to protect my family. How many of you have that thought? How many of you have actually thought about it? I have now. That's been a thought that's been in my mind now for probably the last 2 years. Because I've seen how ugly and ruthless the other side is, and they don't give a shit. So in reality, you need to program yourself to feel the same way, which means they wouldn't mind killing you. So you need to be ready to kill them, mentally ready. Like, understand that can be a real possibility down the road, and you need to be aware of that. How many of you have thought about that? How many of you have taken the mental preparation? What am I going to do? Will I pull that trigger? Will I cross that line? Yeah, if someone's going to do evil to my child, I will. And I'm not just talking about killing my child. I'm talking about any type of physical harm to my child. Because our children today in 2026 have targets on their back now more than ever before. They got a target on their back for grooming, for sex trafficking. If they're a white child, they got a target on their back through the lens of equity and payback. That's the truth. Their white children are seen as evil through those lenses. They're seen as oppressors, right? So if you have a child, specifically a white child, think about the different types of targets are on your child's back. And then you look at the school system. Denver Public School just actually did something, I would say, commendable, I would say, for a change. But check out this clip about Denver Public School teacher. Clip 4.
I move that the board hereby accepts both the evidentiary and ultimate findings of fact of the hearing officer, the recommendation of the hearing officer that Ms. Jennifer Honka be dismissed on the grounds of incompetence and neglect of duty, and that the board enter its written order as required by TACTA that Ms. Honka be dismissed with immediate effect.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the floor is now open for debate. Seeing none, Ms. Atwood, would you please call roll?
Director De La Rosa? Aye. Director Gaitan?
Aye.
Director Hunter?
Aye.
Director Klein-Molk?
Aye.
Director Sia?
Aye.
Dr. Torres?
Aye.
Mr. Youngquist?
Yes.
Thank you. With that, the motion passes. Thank you, David.
So what that was the Denver Public School Board just voted unanimously to dismiss teacher Jennifer Honka after she reportedly made female students kiss each other and graded them on it. Public school system, indoctrination, grooming. Okay? Teacher actually graded female students kissing each other. How does that come up in a classroom setting? How do those topics come up? Oh, that's right. You talk about sexuality all the time in schools. You talk about this type of stuff. You have kids read about it in books. You have kids write reports about it. All the stuff that should not be in education is in education. So when we talk about indoctrination, you have to actually break down what the indoctrination is. It's not just simply the sexualization of kids. It's more deeper than just that. It's more deeper than just the grooming of kids with the literature and the classes and the Pride Month and the Day of Silence. It's deeper than just that. They also indoctrinate them socially through equity because they teach kids to view everything through race. They teach kids to see things as an oppressor versus an oppressed. They do this in the public school system. So that's part of the indoctrination. So they do it sexually, they do it socially. They do it economically with class struggle, breaking it down, rich versus poor. They teach these economic constructs where they preach to the kids in school that it's unequitable, right? It's all tied into the equity lens. And being successful and rich is not seen as needing to be celebrated, right? It's actually harmful if you're successful and rich. And that trickles down into what they've done educationally through the indoctrination of the school system too, right? In the education system and a lot of public school systems throughout the country, they've taken the valedictorian away. They've taken away highlighting academic achievements in the school systems, right? So they're taking away the acknowledgement of doing something well. They're taking away the acknowledgement of succeeding academically. So they're watering down what children should be expecting as they progress through life. They're being taught that educational achievement is not important. It shouldn't be recognized. And this is all done through the guise of equity. So actually the indoctrination of kids has more to do with what equity does to them than the actual grooming of kids sexually. They're both evil. Do not get me wrong. They are both evil. Equity has more tentacles. That's what it is. Equity has more tentacles, and it actually puts kids into boxes more. You also have affinity groups. Let's not forget about this. Kids are actually segregated at schools based on their race, right? They're doing that in schools. Schools that have affinity groups. That's what they are. They segregate kids based on their race. So that's indoctrination of kids. Okay, it's not just the sexualization. That's a separate facet. Right? That's part of the indoctrination. But the indoctrination of itself goes through equity, sexually, socially, economically, right? Race, segregation, affinity groups, not celebrating educational achievement. That is the indoctrination of the school system here in America. And that's why families are leaving the school systems faster now than they ever did before, because they are pulling their kids from that type of environment. But what about those kids left in that type of environment? What happens to those kids when they're not learning to read or write? Where education is not considered a priority, but social justice, social activism, restorative practices are considered the future and what we need to get our kids motivated about. What's going to happen to that percentage of kids when they leave the public school system, when they're 18, 19, 20 years old, but yet can't have a job because they don't have the basic skills? And that's another thing families really have to start considering doing, is suing local school districts. And this is going to be a shitty statement, but I'm going to say it anyway. Families, if your children graduate high school with a diploma and they cannot read or write, you need to have a lawsuit on your hands. Now, I'm not blaming all of the school district for the fault. There is parent responsibility as well. But ultimately, after 12, 13 years in a school system, hopefully that school system taught you enough over those years where you could at least read and write if you tried. Now, if you showed up every day, tried really hard, and you still couldn't read or write, yeah, I don't know. But school systems are not prioritizing making sure their kids can read or write. True story, majority of the kids that I taught do not know how to address an envelope. Have no clue how to write an envelope out. Where do you put the address? And honestly, a decent amount of my kids didn't know actually what their address was. Basic skills. So when I was a social studies teacher, I actually did a lesson on how to actually write an envelope out and, how to make sure you know your address, like made kids learn their address. 7th grade social studies. I was doing that 10 years ago. Because it's something that needs to be done. Kids need to understand how to write out an address on an envelope. Know where you put where you're sending it to, and where's the return address go, right? Real basic stuff. Kids didn't know how to do it. So you have to teach them that. And then in DPS, you have teachers grading female students on whether or not they're making out enough for her. And it's a shame. It's a shame because the public school system can be so much better than what it is, and it could offer so many more opportunities to kids if it was run the correct way. Every school district, every school. Number one, I would eliminate equity out of every school district across the state. You know how many millions of dollars are being stolen from the kids in your school, in your school district because of equity departments that your school district has? You know how many lawsuits that the school districts are fighting because they have equity in their school districts? You know how much money that is taken away from putting it back into the classroom for kids? Do you know that? No. And will school districts actually report that out loud? No, they won't. No, they won't. They'll give you, oh, department equity here, this budget here, but the budget's bullshit because there's other contracts that are hidden in different departments that still get paid out for equity purposes that aren't tied together. Right? They hide the money because they know if the communities ever found out how much these districts actually spend on equity, the communities would be up in arms. The fact that you pay a transgender person $35,000 to go on a 4-school speaking tour for 2 days. I think the general population in the school district that hears about that knows that it happened, should be quite angry about it. But it happens all the time. Imagine how much $35,000 can go to those 4 schools to help kids learn to improve their reading and writing. That's $11,000, $10,000 per school. That could be very helpful, but that's not needed. What's more important is we pay this tranny to come in to talk to our staff about the importance of respecting trans students when no one actually disrespects trans students. Just saying. No one actually disrespects them. Teachers definitely don't disrespect them. Teachers know better. Teachers don't disrespect anybody, by the way, except white kids. White kids are the only one that they could talk to any which way. I've seen it firsthand. If you take different tones, different attitudes, different levels with other groups of students, doesn't happen. And that's because of equity. That's because of equity. Because everything gets called out as being racist if you're more direct or stern or enforcing behavior expectations, right? And just take a look, just go through that list. Look what happens when you invoke equity into everything. You get segregated groups in schools. You get valedictorians taken away because it harms people's pride. You get social justice groups activated. You get LGBTQ and sexual books. And so that's what happens when you do equity. And at the same time, when you inject all this into a school district, you know what happens with the actual academic achievement of that school district? It actually goes down. So the more you get woke, the more your academic levels actually go down. And that's why if you haven't seen anything out of California recently, but I believe it's UC Berkeley that's telling California, hey, we need to bring back standardized tests because kids that are coming from high school to college can't do basic math. That's truly going on out in California, where they're telling the state legislature, hey, what you guys did a couple of years ago really jacked up the problem out here because the kids that are coming to college aren't ready to do college math. Equity. 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 And to continue with the equity, take a look what's going on, what might be going on out in Fairfax County, Virginia public schools. Cut 5.
Virginia parents are begging their district for more learning time for students, but instead of offering to cut teacher work days or school planning days, one of the district's proposed solutions is sparking outrage. Fairfax County Public Schools asking parents in a survey, quote, if the school calendar required modifying one of the following, which would be the most acceptable to you, with one of the response options being, quote, eliminating holidays recognizing religious and cultural observances, listing Christmas and Rosh Hashanah as examples. Fairfax County mother Stephanie Lundquist Aurora joins us now. Good morning to you, Stephanie.
Good morning, Ainsley. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on. I know you have 3 children in the district. You have an 11th grader, a 9th grader, and a 7th grader. This really affects your family. Why consider eliminating Christmas?
You know, it's really interesting, Ainsley. Fairfax leaders have an anti-Christian bias, and this is not the first time that they've waved the proverbial middle finger to Christians. In 2022, the school board voted to change spring break with the express purpose of decoupling it from Easter. And then in 2024, the county's Board of Supervisors, the governing council, also voted to commemorate Transgender Visibility Day on Easter. So this is just a drop in the bucket in showing their anti-Christian biases once again.
Yeah, Stephanie, every parent received a survey or an email asking to weigh in on this. What are most of your friends saying? Do they want to eliminate Christmas, your friends or the community?
No, they're in shock that they sent out this survey. I mean, this is just an example also of central administration in Fairfax County paying people to conduct these ridiculous surveys and then not listening to what the community says. So, for example, they sent out a survey asking if we wanted to have shared sex classrooms for sex education. 84% of us said no, we did not. And then the superintendent responded by saying, well, the majority doesn't always dictate, and then implemented a pilot program doing just that. So even though my friends are certainly against ignoring Christmas, the district won't listen to us anyways because the leaders have their pre-selected conclusion.
So there you have it. Not enough instructional time, allegedly. So let's cut some holidays. Let's think about throwing Christmas. This is a former teacher here talking. And I'm going to be honest, and my teacher friends aren't going to like this. There is too much time off during the school year for when school's in session. End of story. Period. Point blank. There's too many days off. There's too many professional development days. There's too many half days. There's too many districts that do half-day release 1 day a week because teachers need more planning time. No, they don't, because teachers aren't using planning time anyway. I'll be honest with you. I will be 100% honest with you. If you've been in education more than 3 years, 95% of those teachers are not using all that planning time. You need 10 to 15 minutes. And that's what they do, especially now with AI. Forget about it. They don't need the planning time. They just want that time off so they can sit behind their desk, scroll on their social media, text their friends, talk to people, check out who's hitting them up on their DMs. That's what a majority of the teachers want it for. It's not to create better lessons or to differentiate their instruction. No, they want the time off. That's what it is. And the fact that a school district is not looking at taking that time away from teachers and saying, you know what? No. You're working professionals. You got to figure this out. You know, God forbid, you may have to be required to do some extra work here and there. Right? And I'm saying this now as a teacher. I'm not in the field anymore. I'm in the other field. And the other field is a lot more demanding. I will tell you that. That private sector, right? Way more demanding than the public sector, working for the public school system. Way more demanding. You guys should get a little taste of it. Right? The simple fact that there's Cherry Creek School District has half-day Wednesdays for elementary school, right? Think about how equitable that is. Think about how fair that is to the school community, to the kids, to the families that send their kids to school Monday through Friday, but every Wednesday, time out, you have to pick up your kid at 1:30. What job allows that? You know, if you're in a higher up position, sure, you probably have the ability to do that. But if you're in a lower level job, where do you get that time? But, you know, in the name of equity, that's not addressed. Cherry Creek, nope. Our teachers need that time off on Wednesdays. Nope. Elementary school parents, you got to figure out a way to pick up your kids at 1:30, hard stop. You want to talk about really wanting student achievement? Guess what? You keep the kid in school for another 2.5 hours to the end of the day and not do with early release. Right? Think about the hardship that causes on parents, especially parents that are working minimum wage or low income wage jobs, which happen to be specifically, typically what type of demographics? The ones that the left and school districts like Cherry Creek continually harp on that they want to serve and help because of how inequitable society is. But think about how you're treating those families now, Cherry Creek, dedicated to excellence. Think about how you're treating those families when your math and reading scores are, but you make sure they got that Wednesday, get that early dismissal, all your elementary schools get out, right? And here in Fairfax County, I'm sure they have something very similar to that because most school districts do at this day and age. Early release, PD days, right? Take away the PD days, keep the kids in school, make the teachers work, keep the holidays as the way they are. Holidays are a good time for family recharging, family bonding as well, celebrating the Lord. All that is good stuff. All that is needed. And that doesn't come around a whole bunch when you're a kid, right? Those times are special. Those times for families are special. They should not be interrupted. And as that lady said on the interview there, the superintendent of the district, these kingmakers, these elitists who are selected by the school board to carry out the school board agenda. It's like, oh, the community said we want 80. What? That's that many? Yeah, I don't care. And that's how these superintendents work. They don't do what's best or what's right or what the community wants. They do what their handlers tell them or what their handlers want, right? In the superintendent's case, his handler is the school board. That's in everyone's case because the school board is the one that hires the superintendent. So your 5-member school board panel right there, those 5 people are the ones that hire the superintendent. While at the same time, they pay 6-figure contracts out to hiring firms to do these extensive searches to find these great clients, prospective prospects to interview to be superintendents. Meanwhile, those school board members could easily try and do that themselves, but they don't. They'd rather spend taxpayer money. Oh, we got to run a process. We got to do this. We got to do that. But usually those organizations are tied back to members on the board because the money always circulates within. The cartel always protects itself. Cartel always protects itself. And religion is a target of the cartel, specifically Christianity, specifically Christians, okay? Our faith, the Christian faith, it's the true religion. It's the only one that sees everyone as equals. It's the only one where anyone and everyone can come to the table of God. No one is looked down upon. It's the only one. And they want to do away with it because that's what Christianity teaches. Christianity teaches there is a higher power. And it also gives us a moral compass on how to carry out our earthly duties. Remember, our rights always come from God. That's why they want to do away with Christianity. The state wants you to believe that your rights come from the state, not God, and that's not the case. Our rights come from God. We are born free. We are not given freedom by the government. We are born free. So you have that war of religion going on in Christianity. All at the same time, another monotheistic religion is being propped up and spread and embraced in Europe and America, Islam. And it has profound impacts. Okay? Right now, Islam is wielding its political power, if you haven't paid attention. They are organized, they are well-funded, they are aligned with the Democratic Socialists of America, who are left-leaning organizations, right? Those are the useful idiots for the Muslims. The DSA are the useful idiots for the Muslims, for now, until they don't need them anymore. But take a look at what Mamdani posted, I believe it was yesterday, on his X account. And Mamdani just post message in Arabic warning about traffic in New York City from his official mayor account. So there you have it. You got the World Cup. You got the Knicks winning the NBA championship. You got the Mets who suck. Yankees are doing all right this year. But yeah, the official New York City mayoral account has Arabic written on it 25 years after the Twin Towers fell. Let that sink in for a moment. That's him talking to Who's understanding that? Oh, that's right, his people in the city. Not the everyday New Yorker, not the average American, right? All purposely being done by design. That's being put out there as a dog whistle and a propaganda piece to his people, letting his people know, hey, baby, we are here, wink, wink, more to follow. That's how this operates. And he is probably the slickest politician we got on the left. His playbook is what's going to be followed, which is socialism, right? That's what's coming. That's what's coming. And how did he get here? It didn't happen overnight. Check this clip out.
And that's how this works. These guys need that voting bloc. They need the Muslim votes. They pack an area with Muslims. You've seen this happen. You're watching it happen in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, in Dearborn. You are seeing this happen. They bring them in, they pack them in. They put up mosques to facilitate them. In flows the funding. Suddenly you've got mosques putting funding in and an imam that's in charge of a densely packed population. Now they have political power. People are going to vote according to what the imam tells them to do. They are voting according to religion instead of any policy or political belief. It's why we have the Islam Party in Belgium. Their policies are segregation on buses, halal and face covering. They even want a couple seats. This is where we're headed. And when they come to mobilize in future time, when this conflict ramps up as it surely will, the mosques are where these people will mobilize from. Do not mistake mosques for churches. Yeah. They are not places of worship. They are places of organization and mobilization.
It's not coincidental. This is all being done on purpose, right? It is a hub of a community. It breeds people together. It brings the connection. It brings the money. It brings the circulation of wealth. And now you also have, from last week, if you saw, the Muslims are developing their own, basically, LinkedIn here in America, where they're circulating Muslim wealth amongst Muslim people, Muslim-owned businesses, right, to accumulate wealth to do what? To actually prop up their political and religious power. It is a whole movement that's occurring here across America. How do you take it back? You call it out and you fight against it. You lobby your politicians to start deportation of those that do not belong here legally. Right? You also talk about possibly changing the immigration laws and actually having maybe immigrants pledge allegiance to America. Oh my God, what a racist concept that is. But you cannot continuously allow foreigners into this country that are coming here to take advantage of us, to destroy us from the inside. You cannot allow this perpetual cycle to continue. So you got to take it back. Because if you don't take it back, they will take it from you. So how many of you in Michigan? Have you found your enclaves in your local states? Are you aware of them? Do you need to do some research? Do you need to write a letter? Do you need to get active on social media? Right? A lot of this just starts there. It literally starts there, and it takes time to gain traction with this stuff. But if you do constant enough work, post, and be informative and share the content that is relevant, and then connect with others that are doing the same thing, right? It takes a lot of work, is what I'm telling you. But it is possible. You can start from nothing and go somewhere with this, if that's something you want to do. If you want to run for political office, that's something else you can do. If you want to go call out your school board and start being aggressive with your school board, getting them to change course and change directions, that's something you can do. If you want to get involved in the elections, become poll watchers or volunteer as watching a poll watcher, yeah. Get involved that way. There are so many different ways to get involved, to take it back, that you just have to be willing to put the time and effort in and realize that what you're going to do and the difference you're going to make and how quickly you think you're going to make that difference, just extend that time period out and be ready for it. Because change is not going to happen overnight. Right? You need to get involved. You need to network. And you can't network from your house not being active online. You can't network. You can't brainstorm, you can't organize. And that's what the left is so good at. They're so good at organizing and mobilizing, just like that lady just covered about the Muslims in the mosques. They are, because they're motivated. What motivates you? What are you motivated by? Do you have motivation anymore? Or are you like a lot of Americans and you're fatigued out of what you're seeing? Right? That was also a topic that was covered yesterday with Micah. It was just the fatigue that a lot of us are feeling. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired every day. But what's the alternative? Roll over and die? No. There is no alternative. You wake up tired and you go fight. That's it. Right? Are you never not going to be tired? No. And when are you going to rest? When we die. That's when we rest. Get, 6, 7 hours of sleep. Get right back at it. Get to work, raise your family, be a good friend, and fight the evil that's in front of us at every turn. Realize what's going on in here in America and understand the onslaught that we have to endure every day. Do you just want to have to endure the onslaught, or do you want to turn the tables a little bit? It's fun when the tables are turned. It's fun when those that are attacking you are the ones that now you can attack. It's fun. It's fun knowing it causes people to possibly change course. It's fun. That's how you make some of this change. Because right up top, right, waiting for the big arrest, right, you can hope, pray all you want for the big arrests. At the end of the day, you and I have no control over those big arrests whatsoever. So what can you control? What difference can you make? And how do you stay actively involved without becoming so frustrated that you just want to throw your hands up in the air and walk away? Find your passion. Find what you want to attack. And then go attack it. Because they'll attack us again one way or another. Right? Attack you, attack your children, attack your property, attack your safety on the streets, attack your paycheck. Right? It may not just be a physical attack. It's all these, it could be a psychological attack, psyops, right? It's everything. It's everything with that side. But let's take a break. And when we come back, hopefully Joe will be joining us. I haven't seen anything from him yet. If you're listening, Joe, we're waiting for you. If not, I'll be covering Europe when we get back from break.
Oh, hi. I almost didn't see you there. Welcome to DCF Buns, where you can find the freshest buns in town, if I do say so myself. Our master bakers teach class every week. So whether you're new to baking or trying to improve your culinary skills, we got you covered. And we can help you bake the cake of your dreams. We'll even clean your cake if you want. And if you don't want to bake anything yourself, we have loads of fresh buns available in a variety of shapes and sizes. Check us out at dcfbuns.com to learn more. DCF Buns, we keep the buns hot and the deals hotter. Buns.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
So, as you know, a lot's been going on in the last few years. A lot's happened, there's a lot of concerns, everyone's concerned. And I believe we have the ability to make a real change. Unfortunately for us, at the moment, everything we're doing isn't cutting it. At the moment, the protest, the flag waving, walking down roads, it's not working. So we're going to bring bring a different element to this. We're going to go back to our roots. We're going to go back to what it was like in the 50s and even the 40s, where British and English men came together and took a stand and took the fight directly to where it is. The digital age is over for us. It doesn't help us. It just puts us in the limelight without actually achieving anything. So, we're going to take it a different route. On this video, you will see a website, www.patriotplatform.co.uk. It's very simple. When you click on it, it will ask you to join in. You click it, you put your name, where you're from, and your contact details. There is a little an arrow by the telephone number that you have to press, and press the country you're coming from. England, obviously. People get confused with that up to now, so make sure you get that right. We are going to produce a patriotic army of thousands and thousands of English and British men that are done with protesting, done with walking down roads, and want to make a difference. Be part of it. But let me tell you one thing right now. If you are weak, you're not sure, you don't want to commit to it, don't bother. We're looking for the strong, the able, and the ability to do something very quickly when it needs to be done. I'm talking about putting 50 boats in the English Channel. I'm talking about taking hold of Dover. I'm talking about taking control of every city in the United Kingdom. I'm talking about pushing back harder than we've ever pushed back ever before. What I've witnessed in Belfast has given me the inspiration to realise that when everyone gets involved who's committed, a change can be made. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Please sign up, and we'll see you all very soon. Come on.
So yeah, that's coming out of England. They've had it over there. It's been bubbling and boiling for a while now. They're ahead of us. They're ahead of us. Okay, I don't think we're quite there yet, but I feel that we're moving in that direction. That's coming out of England, and that's on the heels of, he mentioned what he witnessed in Belfast. He's seen the people in Belfast and Ireland come together as a unifying force, actually going to immigrant communities and actually burning down apartments and torching their cars. Because the people of Ireland have had it. They're tired of seeing their people replaced. They're tired of seeing their people not have opportunity because of the influx of immigrants to them. They had it. Okay? We're kind of building there. Okay, Trump's doing what he can, right? But what's going to be contingent after Trump is anybody's guess. But out of England, the people have completely had it, that they're talking about organizing, talking about building armies that could actually take local cities. Okay, we're definitely not there yet, but they're feeling it across the pond. And it's because of what's going on with the immigrants coming into Europe and them mostly not assimilating, taking over their areas, taking over opportunities, taking over houses, getting funding, all while the local people get shafted by their local government. Does that sound familiar? It just hasn't happened to us long enough yet. We got a really good dose under Biden for 4 years. England and Europe have been doses of this for 20 plus years. So we're not there yet, but we can get there. Take a look at this video, what came out of Ireland recently of a confrontation between an immigrant and the Irish. This is going to be 2 different videos, same situation. You're going to see how it started. You're going to see something on the second cut on how it ended the way it did. Let's play cut 2 first.
Fucking cunt! You know where you are? What are you gonna do with your second? You have 1 last second here, motherfucker! Fuck off! Hey! What the fuck are you gonna do? Fucking show the hard on! Yeah, boy! Yeah, boy! Show the woman. Yeah, boy! Yeah, boy! Yeah, sausage! Who's the sausage? Your sausage shouting at a woman! Thanks. Who the fuck shot me? You can't. I'm telling you. Calm down, calm down. Fuck? Who's this boy? Get in! Who are you? Boy, go on! Who are you? Calm down. Sausage, you laughing? Calm down, you don't need sausage. No further. Hey! Hey! How's that cheap fucker?
So there you have one video, right? And you see how the immigrant is being the provocateur towards the natives of their home country, right? But that has to be socially accepted because that's just the way it is. They're white, he's not white, he gets to treat people like shit, spit on them, talk all types of nonsense to them in public, and it's supposed to be socially acceptable. That's the video you saw, but at the end of the video, you saw him on the ground. Well, I kind of want to show you the second video because you're going to see how he ended up on the ground. Cut 3. Now that's just one punch, nothing too crazy, but here comes the second one. Knocks him over the cylinder block, and that's what happens. That's what happens to him. And then the guy in the suit up top, if you see it, he's actually talking to the kid that punched the immigrant over the barricade, telling him it was a cheap shot, not necessary. Well, I'm just here to tell you the people of Ireland don't care anymore. They've had it. They're not going to see their own people disrespected by people from the third world. And the sentiment's building here in America also. Okay? People are being tired of being spoken to disrespectfully for no other reason than they're white and you're not from this country, but feel that you could address white people this way. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. And you don't want to push and prod and push and prod, especially the Irish. The Irish are crazy. I don't know if people realize this or not. The Irish are crazy. They're crazy in a good way, though. But they will hurt you. They will go after you. And the Irish over there have had it. And I would love to get over there because that is where my ancestors are from. I would love to see that country once in my lifetime to see what it looked like. Okay, but I have seen clips of videos of neighborhoods that don't look like they're Irish anymore. And Ireland's not that big. Okay, it's really not that big. So Ireland's fed up. The people in England are fed up. And take a look at this post that was put up by Rupert Lowe, who's a member of the Parliament of England. He put out a gang rape inquiry report, and AF Post, America First Post, picked it up. Rupert Lowe has released the Rape Gang Inquiry Report, an independent survivor-led report into Britain's grooming gang scandal. The report finds that organized child rape gangs operated across at least 149 local authority districts, while police, social services, schools, health services, and politicians deliberately failed to protect vulnerable young white girls, allowing for 250,000 of them to be subjected to repeated rape, gang rape, trafficking, torture, pregnancy, forced conversion, and lifelong trauma. Those that do not want to assimilate do this. You invited the wolf into your den. And this is what's going on to the white women in Britain. 250,000 victims of forced rape, gang rape, pregnancies, conversions, trauma. 250,000. All done by the migrant community in England. Wow. That's a huge number. I'm not surprised because in third world countries, that's what goes on. And unfortunately, that's what happens to a lot of the women there. Africa, Middle East, it happens there. India, Pakistan. Third world countries breed this type of behavior because it's culturally normal to them. It's normal to subject women, to treat women this way. And then when they come over to another part of the world and they've never seen a woman the way, they've never seen white women, let's be honest, you don't have too many white women walking around sub-Saharan Africa. You don't have too many white women walking around in the Middle East, uncovered. Right? If white women go to the Middle East, what do? Burqa time, they cover up, right? Oh, we respect their culture. We assimilate when we go there. We assimilate when we go there because we're going to be respectful of their culture. And this is the payback that they give to you. Because they don't know how to behave or act or control their desires, because they believe they're able to carry out their desires on women because that's what they're allowed to do in their home countries. Fact check me. Take a look at the sexual assault numbers that are going on in the Scandinavian countries. Look what's going on in Sweden. Okay, the sexual assault numbers in Europe are through the roof, and they're all pretty much dominated by the migrant population as being the ones that are doing this to the people in Europe, to the women of Europe. And it's happening here in America because we've seen so many cases, so many reports, right? And that's what the media actually picked up. So who knows how many of those cases are not being reported? Because you just don't leave your culture behind. It's evident. They don't. They bring it with them. And how can you say that's nothing else other than part of their culture coming with them? Because people want to talk about, oh, my immigrants bring great food, right? That's all I hear, halal food, right? Great Middle Eastern food, right? What do you get from Somalia? You get that great work ethic? No, you get gang rape culture. That's what they bring with them. And 250,000 women in England had to deal with this. Absolutely disgusting. And those leaders over there, let's not forget, their elections are bullshit too. They're all selected because they're all purposely put in place to carry out this globalist agenda and the white replacement of European citizens. Like, that's all what it's going on there. It is blatantly obvious. If you are not keen or awake to what's actually happening in Europe and North and South and North America, you really need to wake up. It is a legitimate replacement theory being pushed by global elitists that want global control. And how do you do that? You push out the white folk. And then you have third world mentality living in first world countries, but don't have the ability to run first world countries. So what do they need to do? Boom. Rely on government, rely on the elitists to control and make sure everything's taken care of. And there you have your one world agenda. There you have your one world government. WEF style. It's all part of their plan. And then in England, you have this, right? And people have ways of fighting back. And I talked about it, in the clip that started off the segment. That group's not about it. I believe fighting back online is a good way to do it. Now, do you get results all the time? No. But also, right, are you going to go to the street with a loaded bayonet and line up against the English army? Probably not. Probably not. So I'm curious how that's going to play out. But the mentality, the warrior mentality is what's important. But take a look at Member of Parliament Mac Wilkinson talking about how X is a problem because it gives the citizens the ability to get their voice out there. Listen to this.
We obviously have social media, which is a massive problem at the moment for engagement. I'm tempted to say, how you make your voice heard as a citizen in 2025 in the UK. Set up an X account and start writing some sort of nativist content, and it will go around the world really, really quickly. Your voice will be heard as quickly as you want it to be. Not in a way that I would be comfortable with, and I would suggest probably not in a way that most people on the panel this evening would be comfortable with either. But that is a really easy way to get your voice heard. Get some content about, how you think immigration's too high, or immigration is the big thing that's tearing the country apart, etc. And that goes around the world because social media run by the world's richest man, X, is now making sure that you can have your voice heard in a really easy way that you couldn't in the past.
Yeah, he's talking about X having a problem because people could actually put their own thoughts and ideas out there that other people could read and write, and it could actually inspire them and actually make them understand what's happening in front of them and not actually just have the government be the spokesperson. Yeah, that sounds about right for England. That X is the problem. I don't think so. Now, does X have problems? Sure. Just like every other social media sites, they all have their own individual problems. But as of right now, X is a really decent source, not a great source, but a decent source of getting the message out. If X approves of that message, let's not forget that. There is a precursor to this. And I see it firsthand with stuff on Joe's account. some things on Joe's account, like this one thing Joe sent out months ago, an apology to Kash Patel because of something Joe heard about, got 250,000 views, 250,000 views. Like what? And then some post Joe puts up gets a couple hundred. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, they play games over at X, but mostly anywhere else you go, X is where you're going to be able to connect with, I would say, the most people still and get your message out there. But it's a problem for the government of England because when people get their voices out there, it actually pulls the curtain from what they're doing. And it shows the people the harm that the migrants have put to the people of England. And I believe now England has, I think, five Muslim mayors throughout their country. I believe it's 5 now. Yeah, the people of England aren't happy with everything. And X is an issue. And I'm going to connect the dot here, but take a look what the UK government wants adults to do to access X now. This is from Polymarket. UK government clarifies adults will still be able to use social media by verifying their identities with digital IDs, facial recognition, passports, credit cards. Keep that up for a second. Look at that right there. What is that calling? Government clarifies adults will still be able to use social media by verifying their identities with digital IDs, facial recognition, passports, and credit cards. Surveillance state. Social credit scores. Okay? Digital IDs. This is where we're going. This is where England is. This is where we're going. Right? They want to have complete control over you. They want to be able to lock you down and control everything you do. They can do that now, to be honest with you. They can lock you out of social media. They can lock you out of your bank account. They can take your shit. They can do all this. They can also track all our stuff now. How many of us think you are untrackable? Your bank receipts, checks you've written, your lunch you bought, dinner you bought, where you went over the weekend, right? How many of us are actually don't have the ability to be tracked by government? The government knows what we're doing. The government knows what we're spending our money on. But I believe what we're moving towards is something called a social credit score now, which is on in China, and we're going to play a clip in a second for you. But that's something that I believe is making its way through Europe and then eventually to America, social credit score, to make sure basically you say what we want you to say online, you eat what we want you to eat, you don't use a certain amount of greenhouse gases, right, carbon emissions, right, to keep that social credit score, because we got to keep you under lock and key. Excuse me. We got to keep you under lock and key. So, yeah, X is a problem in England, and to make sure that you can use X, you got to jump through these hoops now. We're going to make sure you have a digital ID that we're going to track you even more on. And the reason why I'm connecting these dots is to end the show here. I want to show you a clip out of China on what happens when you don't reach or you don't keep the social credit score that the government wants you to keep. Cut 7.
Didn't go broke, they got deleted. In China, tens of thousands of young people are suddenly homeless, not because of money, but because the system erased them.
Imagine a society where everything you do, everything you say, and everything you buy is controlled and evaluated by the authorities. This is what the Chinese Communist Party calls social credit.
By using the mechanism of social credit, we'll be able to establish a blacklist of people and create a system of punishment that will be based on a scientific theory. These punishments will serve as a whip to rebuild moral values. Our society needs it.
The country's social credit system decides who's trustworthy. But if you're blacklisted, it's game over. Your WeChat Pay stops working, you can't receive your salary, can't buy food, can't even book a train ticket. It's like being alive, but digitally. Many are now sleeping in the streets, cut off from everything. Jobs, housing, even communication. All because one app, one algorithm decided they don't belong.
It's not science fiction. In China, it's a reality.
Then there's the public shaming. Photo galleries of blacklisted citizens. There's even an app that shows who around you is in debt.
They're not criminals. They didn't steal, cheat, or harm anyone. They just fell too low on a score and vanished from the digital world. Critics say it's a glimpse into the future, where technology doesn't just track your life, it controls it. So ask yourself, if your entire life depended on your digital reputation, how long before you get deleted?
Can't say not too far off from that. There are people that are pushing for that. This has been pushed at the World Economic Forum. Okay, digital ID, social credit scores, making sure you're locked under a key. And then they control everything that comes out of your mouth. If they don't like what you say, they don't like how far you drive, how much you spent on gas, if you bought too much red meat, bing, 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 deplatform you, you become homeless. Well, that can't happen here. Well, look where we are in 2026 today. Do you think what happened in 2026 today, if you said what America looked like 10 years ago, right? If you were in 2016 and you would think we would have a Muslim mayor in New York, LGBTQ stuff all over the school systems, a political party that openly hates America, do you think that if you said all that was going on in 2016, in 2026, do you think people would be like, oh, you're crazy, you're way out there? Yeah, people are like, you're nuts. What are you talking about? You make zero sense. Well, here you go. Look where this is. Look where we're going and see if we don't get there. Or at least there's not a monumental push to get there. Right? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, you're looking at one control, one world government. Right? You got to take it back. You got to take it back. And there was something I saw in the comments. Where was it? I have to say, Patrick, I don't agree. A school is not a babysitter. Kristen Dahl, I agree with you. A school is not a babysitter, but a school is a babysitter. The schools have become babysitters. Parents and families have basically acknowledged that. And let's be honest, if you are working Monday through Friday, the schools are open Monday through Friday for a reason. Okay? They're open Monday through Friday for a reason. But on Monday and Tuesday, they only work from 7:30 to 4. And Thursday, Friday, they only work from 7:30 to 4. And then that middle Wednesday, they work from 7:30 to 1. How do you adjust as a working parent, and what jobs make those accommodations? It's impossible. So schools are a babysitter. They have to be. And then when you throw the wrench into the system that way, it derails a lot of families. And unfortunately, it's the ones that are not wealthy that feel the more brunt of the impact. They got to take the day, take half a day, create tension at work with someone, asking them to flip-flop, right? All other unnecessary bullshit that families have to go through and jump through hoops because the school district is like, nah, we need to make sure everyone's out. All elementary school kids, you out at 2:00 because your teachers need time to plan. All right? Out at 2. Families, you got that? You work 9 to 5? Oh, you do? School's still out at 2, though. So make sure you get your kid, right? Because they don't want to stay late either. All those about equity, they never want to stay late or do anything that will require more effort without being paid for, right? That's equity. That's equity. But that was I saw that and I just wanted to make sure, I agree schools should not be a babysitter, but they have become the babysitter. And that's just what it is. Europe has a bigger problem than being unarmed. They have police who are willing to turn water cannons on the populace, restrict speeches. We are very close to that also. Yeah, George. Yeah, Jeff. Sorry, not George. Yes, Jeff. You are correct. You are correct. We live in interesting times. And can you imagine if we ever turned water cannons on, I don't know, Muslims gathering who refuse to disperse in a public prayer? Can you imagine if that were to happen? And why do we still allow that to happen? Why do we allow public prayer by Muslims? They are marking their territory. They are letting us know we are here. This is our hood now. So yeah. Good times, Ridgemont High. Good times at Ridgemont High. But I am still proud to be an American. I love this country. I'm going to fight for this country every ounce I got till the day I die, because there's no alternative. There is no, let's make a compromise, let's split the baby. No. I don't want your way of life here impacting my family. I'm going to fight you till I die. And then I'm going to teach my kid to fight you till he dies. And I'm going to teach my kid to teach his kids to fight you till you die, because you're going to teach your kids the same thing, right? Because that's the generational push. So we just got to build our generation. They build theirs. We'll see. I guarantee our generation is bigger, stronger, faster, and smarter, and have more weapons. So if this was ever to go hot, I would probably take our side. But you know, that other side, they don't want to fight man to man or face to face either. They do all shit in the dark behind backs. Right, Ronnie? You would never come see me face to face, buddy. You never had the balls to come see me face to face to talk it out like a man. You were a sniveling little schoolgirl. And you felt like you were the man in charge. But that's how they all work. That's how they all work. They're nothing but snakes in the grass, and they think we're the peasants. I got your number, buddy. If you ever want to come talk to me, you know where to find me. You can email me. Love to chat, buddy. Love to chat. But you won't. No balls. No balls. Fill the water cannons with pig's blood. Man, Jeff, you are feeling it today. I'm going to close my computer right now. Oh, man. We're going to pray it out. In the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Lord, thank you for the opportunity today to sit in the chair and to talk to our Untamed Nation family. Dear Lord, thank you for the message of church this past Sunday. I felt it. It was real. Lord, thank you for my wonderful family, my legal team, my friends, everyone that has supported me along this journey that I'm in over the past 2 years to rectify the wrongs. Please watch over all of them, Lord. Please extend them an extra break or two if they need it over the next couple of days as a favor to me. Just asking for a favor, Lord. But it's not for me. It's for friends and family close to me. Just, Lord, thank you for a beautiful day. Thank you for just the opportunities that this country has to offer. If you're just willing to pick your head up out of the sand and look around, you would see this is a beautiful place with tremendous opportunity. The world is what you make of it. Thank you, Grandma, Grandpa, and Dad. Miss you guys. Love you guys. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. All right. Take the fight. Spread the word. Organize. Connect. Don't take it laying down. You got to take it back. Joe will hopefully see you tomorrow. I hope he will see you tomorrow. He will not be joining today. He's en route to the hotel, so he was not able to join. I got a message from him about 10 minutes ago. But I am hopeful he will be live with you guys tomorrow with a very special guest. And I'm not saying this to tease you. I really believe he should have a special guest with him tomorrow. But until then, class dismissed.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fight where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew.